Good afternoon. In this video, we will look at how to configure DHCP for different types of networks and also configure routing, static and dynamic. Let's take the following topology as a logical basis. We have a virtual router, local virtual network, and we also have an additional local virtual network, which uses high availability optical ring and connects two data centers, DC1 and DC2. And in each data center, there is one virtual machine. Let's look at the structure from the point of the control panel and settings. Let's go to the vCloud Directory Control panel. We see that we have one virtual machine and two networks. First, we build the DHCP for the isolated subnet. This is a network which is not connected to any router. It is configured on the network itself. Here we set the DHCP pool that we need. Let's add this subnet to our VM. First, we will add this subnet to our VM. And in the properties of the VM itself, we will add another virtual adapter. Let's specify the recommended type. We will use DHCP as the network we choose is our isolated network. Save the settings. Let's go into the virtual machine. We see that we have two network adapters. The one we had initially and the one we've added. And we've got the DHCP from the pool that was set for isolated subnet. Now, we'll configure DHCP on the network which is connected to the edge. In this case, DHCP is not configured in the properties of the network, but directly in the edge. Go to the edge and you will see that the DHCP pool is connected and the service is set. The pool is set from 200 to 230 address. We will add another network adapter to the VM. And we'll use the already routed subnet. Apply changes again. And go back to the virtual machine. We see that another network adapter has been added. Let's look at the details and see that added network adapters use a different DHCP server. One DHCP server uses an isolated subnet with a DHCP pool defined in its properties. And the second adapter uses a DHCP server and a DHCP pool defined on the gateway. Now, let's look at the routing between two VM located in different data centers. Opening the second console, we see that the VM is located in another data center. Look at the network parameters, see its address, and let's try to ping it. We won't be able to do that, but let's check it out. There is no ping. Well, let's configure it. First, we need to set up a static route to our edge IP address. Go to the edge in the DC1, and in the properties of the edge, we see that the IP address is 192.168.3.2 is used. It's the network we're using now, and here we're using an IP address of 3.100. Also, API addresses and other diagnostics can be done directly on the virtual routers. To do this, we need to enter them. This procedure is described in detail in our knowledge base. This can be done as follows. In the settings, Edge is set to enable SSH access, login and password is set and saved. We have already done these settings and we will open a connection to them and see it. First, let's have a look at the interfaces which are available on the router. We can see all the available interfaces and we can also see the IP address. We see the IP addresses assigned, including the IP address we need from the subnet. We will look at the other router. This data can be viewed both here and in the control panel. Let's go to the routing properties. Static route and add a static route. Add a route for the subnet located in code 1. We add a virtual router. Check. Apply. We will make the same parameters in data center 1. Enter routing, add a route. Here we already have a subnet 41.0 and the IP address that we have in K41 is 3.100. Apply to the desired interface, save, and let's try again to ping. It was done successfully, and routing is up and running. We can also look at the routing table and see that these routes are added. Now we'll configure the same thing, but using the OSPF protocol. We'll first remove the static routes. Delete the route. Make sure that everything is moved away and there is no traffic between the virtual machines. And now we have to do the same thing with OSPF. Let's go to routing configuration, enter router ID, go to OSPF, turn on the protocol, and we'll use a single zone and add our interface. To announce the subnet by itself, go to M14 and do the same thing. Try again pinging the neighboring virtual machines. It will take a moment to rebuild it. Let's see how the routing table has changed on virtual routers. And we see that the same routes are no longer static, but get through OSPF. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day.